I was not suspended for that. I was suspended because I mismanaged a very troubled employee. And I went too far.
Who gave me quite the wrong room number, by the way. So
August?
Yeah, glad you.
Mike August?
To the best that you
Added
can
a couple
stand
extra
and
threes
share.
and twos.
I'm sorry, Tom. I just, once again, I don't.
That doesn't sound right.
Because
Because what's the earliest we can get off?
Earliest you can go is 6:45.
Oh, crap.
That's not a problem. Early is not a problem.
How far is the airport?
It's relatively close.
Oh, well, it's where.
Airport's 15, 20 minutes.
It was a solid hangover nap.
It's a good little balcony.
Yeah.
It's nice to you.
We went and had
It's good.
Are we all
Gina, check that mic for me.
Checky. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay.
Brian, if you...
And.
Oh, it's your news tiara.
Yeah, obviously.
Oh, she's a news princess.
Who does a news show
Hashtag news princess.
without the proper headgear?
That's right.
Are we gonna have like sound effects and everything? Like news intros and stuff?
No, we will
Okay.
not. This is a
Bare
very raw
bones.
show.
That's
Right. Except for
right.
in Kroger's
Perfect.
commentary, we'll be. I'll just turn my laptop around.
Unplugged.
And you guys can.
Thank Amazon.
You got 5.
Okay. All set?
Floor check. 1, 2.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Kind of a cool. What's that?
A cricket bar?
It was kind of a.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're rolling.
Nice.
Straight. Ready, boogie?
Yeah. From Adam's suite aboard. From Adam's suite aboard the Explorer of the Seas, this is the Adam Carolla Show. With Gina Grad on news and Bryan on sound effects, and now Lynch wrote an intro joke, but I yacked on the copy. Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get on. No choice but to get on. Mandate. Get it on. Welcome to the pod. I'm Adam Carolla. It's Gina Grad over there and Bryan. Good to see you guys.
Ahoy!
Avast.
This half of the show brought to you by Castrol Edge and Tommy John. We're all wearing them here. We're in my suite. They're hanging up on the bathroom curtain rod. We have so much to go through, and so let me set the stage. We're sitting in my suite. We're up on the 10th deck. I'm looking out the window. It's British Columbia is out in the distance. We're in the bay. We haven't pushed off yet. We're setting sail for home in the next, hour or so, imminently. Caelan's in the room. Christie Bishop's in the room. We have Dawson, of course, Chris Max Pata, and Mike, the Stone Pelican, is behind me, not the Porcelain Punisher Fondelier. So I guess we should really just recap the trip as far as everyone goes. I know Bryan has a gambling story.
A gambling problem?
We all
How dare you?
we all got off and went onto the terra firma today and walked around and had some fun in British Columbia. What island is this? What is this called?
Victoria.
Victoria.
Yes,
Victoria
sir.
Island. Victoria Island. Oh, we have Alan here, too. Well, he's filming, so he's supposed to be behind the scenes. But Alan lived here
Is it Vancouver
for
Island?
a number of years.
Okay, it's Vancouver.
So it's picturesque. It's beautiful, just as you would sort of think of it. It's think Bay Area, think up north.
It's rainy and crisp.
And then it's clear and it's beautiful, and it's got a very British feel to it. We went to pubs and drank and ate fish and chips and all that good stuff. So what did everybody do today?
Well, we actually had a lovely day when we got off the ship. There's all these choices. You know, you want to take a horse and carriage, you want to do a pedicab, you want to get on a shuttle. And I said, well, a pedicab sounds delightful. So we had this wonderful woman who was a missionary who biked from one end of the United States to the other and then came here to live and took us on a 3-hour tour. And it was incredible. We started in the Fisherman's Wharf. She walked us around. She told us everything. Then we rode through St. James Bay and all the beautiful houses, and she told us everything. And we stopped at little markets and little shops, and we went to Chinatown, and we went to downtown, and it was delightful. We had little blankets over us, and we walked through gardens, and it was...
You're missing a kidney, but other than that, it's...
I blacked out for about 6 hours, but I feel very refreshed. It was awesome.
I've never taken a pedicab because I'm not good enough for a pedicab because that's somebody else pulling you around.
Burning a lot of
There's
calories.
I
in
can do a
between-
horse or a Prius, but another human being, I'm a Corolla. I
It's
should
always in
be
between-
pedaling them.
It's in between obvious drive and obvious walk. It's like, I could, but
I felt a little bit better because she did say it was moderately motorized, but she was huffing and puffing, and she was doing a great job. And then we ended up at the bar that you guys were at and did a flight of Scotch,
Right.
And the food was amazing.
Wait, when you say you guys, I mean Adam and whoever who was there?
I had a gentleman with me.
Oh, no. The same bar you guys were at.
Yes,
Okay.
Adam and
The
August
listener.
and Alan. Yeah, I met a super fan, and I went to the highest bidder.
Sparks flew.
And the food was fantastic, and then we just sort of rolled ourselves back here after all that food.
Yeah. How's it being with the fans? It's sort of in a encapsulated in a ship where you cannot escape after the end of the show or after the end of the gig or after the end of the whatever. You guys like it?
It's awesome.
How they treated you?
The
Amazing.
first year I was, this is the third year, obviously. The first year I was overwhelmed because, like you said, everywhere you turn, someone's like, "Hey, Bryan, I love the show," but whatever. And it's awesome, but it's crazy because everywhere you turn, people know who you are. So once you realize that's how it's going to be and you adjust your expectations, by year 3, it's awesome. Like, everyone's friendly. Everyone's telling you how much they enjoy what you do for a living. It's cool. You just got to know what you're in for.
Well, and what I told a bunch of people this time, and I think I said it last time, the thing that everyone says is thank you for being so accessible and being so much fun on the ship. And what I keep saying to people is this is basically a family reunion. I have cousins I don't know. I know you better than I know some of my family.
Oh, yeah.
So when we do this once a year, it's our family reunion. So of course we're all going to hang out.
I love the stories of people saying, they listen, they get their day started, they listen on their commute, they listen in the shower, they come running in and they say, "Did you hear this?" or "Did you hear that?" with their spouses or roommates or whatever it is. That's the best part.
Yeah.
For me, that part of feeling... I don't want to get corny with all this bullshit talk about everyone feeling like they're isolated and alone and now they have a voice. But
They're isolated and alone.
Carry
they're
on.
isolated and alone and now I'm their voice. Okay. No, like when you have a job and there's not that much to look forward to, you don't look forward to your commute, or you might not look
Right.
forward to your foreman or your boss or whoever you're working with or whatever that is. When you have that thing that you look forward to, sometimes it's bacon. Sometimes it's a Danish. It's a thing. Sometimes it's Monday Night Football. You get to, at the end of the day, I get to watch Monday Night
Right.
Football. So, talk and talk radio always sort of got me through the day. I didn't want to. I wasn't happy with my life. I wasn't happy with my truck. I wasn't happy with my roommates and my boss and all that kind of stuff. But I sort of looked forward to when so-and-so was coming on, or if I could tune into so-and-so.
Talk radio and your family got you through the tough times.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I always like that story, and I guess it's because of my background, but I always love it when they go, the commute sucks, and we have to travel on the subway and blah, blah, blah. But I love listening to the show.
Yeah.
So for everyone who's listening right now, who's involved with that, or were part of that commute or part of that day, God bless you. We love that story. It means a lot. As a matter of fact, if you ever think, well, when am I going to stop doing this, or when am I going to move on, or when am I going to do something else? Whenever I hear those stories of, we count on you, we need you, we listen in the bathroom, I'm listening on the way to work, and
I stockpiled them for a road trip.
Yes, yeah. It gets me through
I love
my day.
that, yeah.
All that kind of stuff makes me think I can never quit. So, Bald, what did you do today?
Well, I had a very on-brand day. It started at 9:15. Well, it started at 8 o'clock with room service, and then it started at 9:15.
Oh, room
Me
service.
too.
Well, they screwed
every
up-
damn morning.
Yeah, they
Really?
screwed up our room
Yeah,
service
it's awesome.
yesterday.
I can't do room service. I'm not good enough for room service.
You should have been in our room yesterday when it didn't show up. We didn't,
yeah.
Devastating.
It was
we had to
quite-
go mingle with the masses.
Ooh.
It was quite late yesterday.
Room
See,
service.
ours
Yeah.
never showed up.
Yeah.
Okay.
How do you
So,
pay for room service?
You don't.
It's all the room service is free. I think there's a charge.
There's an $8 surcharge, and you order anything you want,
yeah.
and as
Still
much of
not
it as
good
you
enough.
want.
Not good enough for that. Wow.
So a room service in the room. We made them. I don't know if it's a mistake or not, but we had the fun wrinkle of Christie ordered the room service. You order on the thing that hangs on the door, right? You'd mark whatever you want. She did it drunkenly last night, and a lot of food showed up at 8 a.m. A whole lot of food. Food for 4.
Did you haul it out to the balcony?
No, we didn't actually.
You
We did
gotta
it in,
haul it out to the
No,
balcony.
we did it inside today. It was a
All
little
right.
chilly, I think. And then 9:15 rolled around. It was time for a hot shave. Time for a hot
shave
shave
on the ship.
Oh yeah, they have the barber shop upstairs.
You good enough for that, Adam?
No,
No.
not good enough for that. No, I my greatest, I hadn't had coffee. The problem with coffee is once you get used to your coffee, then there's everyone else's version of coffee. And their version of coffee is not your coffee because your coffee is the Vinnie Tortorich coffee.
Right.
And you make it really strong, and then you add your whole whipping cream in the glass container and everything else. And everyone else is this sort of brown water with a little packet of, colored powder.
Coffee for
you
2,000
sprinkle
people.
over top of it. Right. So when Mike showed up at my room today, I dispatched him to get me a latte. I said, "Fine,
You're good enough for that."
A latte."
To dispatch others.
That's right, dispatch
Yes,
others.
but that was it. That was because I've gone 3 days with not really drinking coffee, or
Yeah.
at least my version of coffee. But
So the hot shave.
shave.
Christy concurrently got a massage.
shave. Oh,
so,
yeah, that makes more
she's not
sense.
gonna hot
Massage,
shave.
nice.
Yeah, massage at the same time. So finished up around the exact same time, and then headed back to the room, changed, and went out with Chris and his lovely girlfriend to watch a little football and at a cool, I guess it's like a sports pub. It's kind of a pub, but
Was
it's
it-
got screens everywhere.
Was it football or football?
It's American football.
Okay,
Oh, I forgot. Okay. Chris was. I don't get upset about too many things. I've been through a lot of things in my life, and not a lot riles me up. But there was towards the end of the 10 o'clock, the first slate of games, 10 a.m. on the West Coast, 1 p.m. on the East Coast. One of the games is in overtime. I think it's Denver and Oakland is in overtime. And the other one, Pittsburgh and KC, are 40 seconds left in the fourth quarter.
Green Bay, Minnesota.
Okay. Whoever. Well, there are two games coming down to the wire, right? One score games coming out overtime in one, a fourth quarter in the other, and all of a sudden the bartender's like, "Oh, is there if I change this to the Rams game?" I'm like, I mean, if you have to, but no.
No.
And like, she's changed the channel. I'm like, no. I'm yelling. At this point, I'm at the corner of the bar and a seat, and she's in the middle of this giant bar, and I'm yelling, no.
Well, you never need to watch the first quarter of any game versus the fourth quarter of every game.
So that was the first game they changed. I'm like, this is a disaster. And they did it again to the other game, and I yelled, Chris, back me up. I yelled this out. You people don't deserve a football team.
Well,
I made a bit of a scene.
I'm a Rams fan, but I would forego the first 10 minutes of the Rams game in
Yes.
the first quarter to see how the Green Bay game, which turned out to be a tie or whatever other game, however those came out. On the ship, let's see, Bryan was gambling.
That's true.
How did that go?
I had another. This is a real life moment. So the craps table here was weirdly closed down a lot of the time. Like it was just empty, no dealers, nothing. They covered up the chips, not happening. And I walked up there between the wedding yesterday and the live show. Yeah, between the wedding and the live show, I had about an hour and a half to kill. So walked up the craps table, and people know what to expect now to see me there.
I married a couple on the ship yesterday.
That was awesome.
That wedding. Yeah.
So between that,
Thank you.
we'll get to that because that was fun. But between that and the live show, I had about an hour and a half to kill. So I went to the craps table where people sort of were milling about waiting to play craps. And they're like, "Bryan, what's going on? We're playing." And I waved over to the pit boss. I'm like, "Let's go. Let's get the table going." And they're like, "No, sorry, sir. It is 7 o'clock tonight. 7. That's not going to work. We got people who want to give you money now."
Can I say this?
Bryan,
There is a
like the
kind
side
of
of you.
That's
a
exactly what happened.
there's an
You don't deserve a cruise ship.
there is a nationality that is on these cruise ships that you cannot work with because, like,
Scary Russians.
Well, there's something.
Slavs?
It's deeper than Russian because I couldn't rightly tell you what anyone I've spoken to, where they hail from,
Right.
or what their nationality is, because there's a strong accent, there's a sort of brown pigment in the skin. We're not sure exactly. I always used to call this Johnny Quest villain nationality. Johnny Quest
Vaguely brown.
Johnny Quest was like Johnny Quest is like from 1966 to 1969 or something. It was after the Nazis. It was kind of before the Cold War.
Okay.
We weren't exactly. It was a little Vietnam-esque in there. We weren't exactly
Turkish.
sure who we were fighting. Like there wasn't terrorists, there wasn't South Africans, and there were just. When you can't figure out the nationality of someone, I always call it Johnny Quest villain because they were all sort of dark and a little Asian, but not complete. They never declared
Dr. No, same era, and you're
a
not quite
major.
sure.
They're like, yes, Mr. Quest, so glad you joined us. But you're like, where are you from?
Yep.
They're Laxamana-esque.
Right. Laxamana's
Pure
looking
evil.
at pictures of these guys right
Pure
now.
evil.
Like, would you know what they were or where they were from? It was so clear cut World War II. Just make
They're all
Japanese
versions of the same guy.
Nazi.
They're all bald.
They
Yul
were bald. They had sort of slanty eyes, but not quite. A
could
little
be
weird.
squinting.
Back when a Fu Manchu or goatee made you evil,
course.
you know. But I wasn't sure what they were. They were sort of Indian and Asian and everything else. But anyway.
So I would not talk to this pit boss this way if I saw him in the streets. But I had 8 to 10 Adam Carolla Show fans surrounding me, ready around the table as though they were playing craps with no money. And I said, let's get this going. And he walks away and he comes back after talking on the phone. He goes, 10 minutes.
All
I got him to open up the
right.
tables. It was my Spartacus moment.
Wow.
It was my Attica.
Nice.
Dragging his cup against the bars.
Did any of you catch the ice show?
Oh, yeah, that's what I did instead of playing craps.
It was awesome. We snuck down to the they're not ice capades. I don't know what else to call them. It was Spirit of the Seasons, the ice dancing show. It was phenomenal. Played a too much putt-putt golf, which was amazing. Really hit that arcade hard. I just want to do it all on this ship.
The professional ice skater's got to be a good gig on this boat, right? Because you're on the clock for 3 hours a day, 2 shows.
The
maybe?
greatest.
Maybe?
Every time we do one of these ships and we see a comedian on the ship, I had sort of 2 sort of professional moments in my life where I thought, God, if I could just get there, you know, like
Philip the Juggler's gig.
Yeah, Philip the Juggler. The other one was doing audience warm-up for Jim O'Doherty was the guy who did the warm-up. So, yeah, Philip the Juggler, when he'd tell me these tales of these trips, he'd go out on 8-day excursions. And, I'm just this sort of bumpkin from North Hollywood, and I'm working construction. And at the time, probably getting like $12 an hour, but everything was by the hour. Like, if you took half a day on a Wednesday for something, you just didn't get paid for the next 4 hours. Or if you work 42 hours, you work 42 hours that week. But if you work 38, you work 38. And it's like, well, how much are you getting paid this week? Well, 12 times 38, like whatever it is. You come in for a half day on Saturday and get paid for 44 hours. Like it's all by the hour.
Right.
And he's telling me on these 8-day cruises, I'd go, well, how many shows do you do? And he'd go, like, two shows. And I'd go, like, 2?
2 16-hour shows?
Yeah, like literally, like he'd go, like, well, I'll do a show Thursday night, and then I'll do a show Saturday night, but we leave on Wednesday and we come back on Tuesday or something. And I was like, are you kidding me? And then I'd always say, like, and then when you're not doing a show, you have to work in the laundry, or how's it work? And he'd go,
Swap the deck?
He'd go, no, you're just a passenger. Yeah. And I'd go, oh, my God, you're just a passenger? Yeah, just eat at the buffet or hang out or watch other shows or drink or whatever. Just walk on the jogging track. Like, I was like, my mind was always blown by that deal of the entertainer doing 2 shows. And I could never figure out. It's like, well, it's a 5-day cruise. You just do a show every night. Why
Right,
don't you
earn
just
your keep.
do a show every night? Like,
Figure.
nah, they don't do that because they have the guy with the macaw. He comes in the next night, and then the guy with the orangutan comes in after that. Jimmy Barasini, or what was that guy? Bobby Barasini. Yeah, he had an orangutan act. Look up Bobby Barasini. All right, so
Was that the
that was mind blown. And then the other one was Jim O'Doherty, who did Married with Children, who told me he got like $1,300 a night, and he'd just go in. He had to get there an hour early, whatever. They'd go from like 4 to like 8 o'clock, and he'd get his $1,300, and they'd shoot on Thursday nights or whatever. Is Bobby Barasini and his orangutan
that's an orangutan.
like still going? And then
They've far outlived him.
I think there was a
that's the orangutan's real hair.
There was a thing where there was like some backstage footage of him whacking on one of them with a cane or something. How could it go any other way?
The one
right?
guy.
Yeah.
The orangutans,
orangutans
like, the
were
one
great
person.
because all you'd have to do for your act to go, you like my new suit? And they'd go like, the orangutan would go like, yeah. And then you'd turn and take a victory walk and you go with his tongue and everyone would go nuts, right?
Classic bit.
That was the classic bit of just hanging his tongue out. You know?
Well, when you put it like that, maybe Olga and Phil should open for us next time.
Yes. Yes. There was Bobby Barasini. When is he still alive, Max Zapata?
Killed by an orangutan.
Yeah.
And was there controversy with his orangutangness?
Yeah, in '89, a Stardust dancer secretly videotaped Berasini grabbing, slapping, punching, and shaking his orangutans before going on stage with them.
I knew it.
Oh, God.
I
Peter
hope
was
he's
not happy.
rotting
He
in
slapped
prison.
the orangutan.
No, listen. Do not fuck me on that new suit, bitch. You did it last time. I let it slide.
This is way before Me Too. 1989, a backstage dancer is videotaping him abusing his orangutan.
What year was it?
89.
Because you couldn't sneak a camera in a lot of
No,
places.
you needed
in
a
89.
crew and a lighting rig. And
camcorder.
Didn't he notice the boom mic?
You had to wear the VCR on your back.
Yeah, the battery pack on your belt, you know, the cord coming up. Wow. So what, is Bobby still alive?
I'm looking at that. There's no...
So it was a popular it was a popular act.
Yeah.
He traveled around.
Why are you familiar with him?
There was like a couple because there wasn't that much entertainment when I was young. There's Bobby Barasini. There was Jim Stafford was another guy. Jim Stafford, well, he sung that song, I Don't Like Spiders and Snakes. But that ain't what it takes to love me. Ooh. You guys know the song. And he had a monkey named Wackadoo. Now, look. If you name your monkey Wackadoo and someone sees you smacking it, you should have seen it. It was in the title.
It's right there.
Hey, you ever heard the game Whack-A-Mole? What do? Massage the mole's feet or do you whack them?
You coax him out?
Yeah. It's Wackadoo.
Oh.
So, yeah.
I think he's still alive.
All right, so Bobby Barasini's got to be in his large 80s.
I was being beaten by a chimp right now.
He's on this cruise.
He was videotaped physically assaulting.
Amazing.
Zach.
Wait, that video's got to exist. Come on,
Oh,
Chris.
it's got to
Please
be up on
don't
the
find
internet
it.
somewhere.
Come on.
Take your safe search off.
I order you right now.
And yeah, Jim, what's his name, had his monkey Wackadoo. Because all these guys had Saturday morning shows back in the day, like the Hudson brothers, like Kate Hudson's dad is one of the Hudson brothers.
What?
Like wacky Hudson brothers. They'd give them all a Saturday morning TV show, and they'd have these crazy morning
God.
shows. So, like, Kate Hudson's dad is Bill Hudson of the Hudson brothers, and the Hudsons were like these three brothers, like goofy, 3 channels only, no competition,
So
Saturday
that gig
morning.
was good enough to score Goldie Hawn?
I guess the thing that's kind of funny is I think he was sort of rock and roll. I think the Hudson brothers were sort of Hanson brother-esque, but they would end up doing a morning show when stuff kind of dried up in the rock and roll world. And it's funny because Kate Hudson ended up going the rock and roll path with not a lot of success either. They all are attracted to. What were the Hudson brothers, Chris? They were they a rock and roll band? Were they like they were a musical group, right?
Yeah, American music group from Portland, 1970s, consisting of Bill Hudson, Brett Hudson, and Mark Hudson. Popular songs: "So You Are a Star," "Rendezvous," "Lonely School Year." and
Oh,
"Help
wait a minute!
Wanted."
I wonder what they thought about the Hanson brothers from Slapshot when the 3 Hanson triplets showed up a few years after the Hudson triplets. You know what I mean? I wonder if they went like, "Hey, they're ripping off our scene." Where they get the Hanson and the Hudsons. So they married Goldie Hawn, had Kate Hudson, and then kind of fled the scene. And then
I always assumed her dad was Kurt Russell, but she adopted
Well,
dad.
she considers her dad to be Kurt Russell. That's not her real dad.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I consider my dad to be Abraham Lincoln. Hold on, and Martin Luther King.
Oh, really?
Yeah, not just one
That's
guy.
how you identify?
That's how I identify.
Yeah,
That's
after
right.
Goldie Hawn, he married Cindy Williams from Laverne and Shirley.
Not a
And
bad.
had two
Wow.
children with her.
Guy
Lateral
did all
move.
right.
They got divorced in 2000. Though.
Yeah. All right. So they had a morning show. And anyway, so there's Bobby Barasini and there's Philip the Juggler. And Philip would work the cruise ships. And I remember Jim O'Doherty would do the stand-up, the audience warm-up. And I remember begging him for an audience warm-up job. Like, please, dear God, could you give me one of these audience warm-up jobs? Like, how... when I was making $12 an hour, the notion of getting paid $600 a pop or $1,000 a
Big
pop
deal.
to sort of the warm-up gig is like you'd go out the mic and you go, hey, how you doing? How's everyone doing? Where are you from? And at some point the producer would go like, get off the stage. You go, all right, hold on, I'll be back. You know,
Big laughs,
big
big
laughs.
laughs.
Here we go. And he'd run off and like eat granola bars.
Yep.
And then you'd run back out for like a minute and a half and go like, where were we? Where are you from? Oh, we got to bring it up. Here we go. Dom DeLuise hitting the stage. You know, like run back.
It's all over.
And he got me a gig doing like those wackiest videos or something like that. I took over for him. He had so many warm-up jobs. He was doing American Gladiators. He was doing Married with Children. And he was doing like foul-ups, goofs, and gaffs with like Dom DeLuise. And at some point, he had to split from his Dom DeLuise show at like 7 o'clock and hustle over to do American Gladiators or whatever it is.
the
And
life.
I was going to fill in.
Killing it.
Yeah, man.
And I got there at like 4 in the afternoon. It was like pacing, you know, and he's doing the first half of the show. And at a certain point, he turns it over to me. Like, I got to go. I got to, you know. And, but this guy, super funny guy, you know, whatever. And he hands the mic off to me. And I did this really corny joke, but it was like a really stupid. It was at Universal Studios. Dom DeLuise just got out in front of the audience, like it was a Universal Studio audience, up in like bleachers, like on a sound stage. Like they were coming through on the tram kind of thing. And he was like, all right, everybody, now listen, you're going to hear a lot of jokes. You're going to hear a lot of same jokes. We're going to have to redo a lot of stuff and a lot of video, and we're going to stop down and show it again, and we're going to do the same setup again. So, you know, it could get a little slow, a little old, maybe a little repetitive, but super easy. When you see me take my right hand and do this weird, like, put it on my heart kind of thing, like, oh, thank you very much. You just laugh. Just laugh. That's how it's going to work. Like, you just see this and you just laugh. And we'll just try it. And he's just standing there in his fat guy hat. And he's like, oh, hey. And he put his hand out and he went, oh, thank you. And everyone's like, oh. And then during the taping of the show, like, we'd be showing like the same cat and trapped in the laundry hamper or something. They have to stop and go back and do the joke. And Dom DeLuise just put his hand out and go, oh, that's sweet. And then he put his hand out and everyone just laugh every time. And I was like, oh my God, this is how show business works.
Why did you implement that for your stand-up special?
I should have. I should have done that. And so Jim was this like big kind of Irish dude, and for a comedian, he was particularly intense and serious, you know. And so he handed the mic. So he did this whole thing where he handed the mic off to me. He's like, I got to go. I got some very pressing issues, but don't worry. This guy's super capable and he's super funny. Adam Carolla, come here. He'll take good care of you for the second half of the show. And he like handed the mic to me and he took off down the aisle. And he took off and I just went, hey, Jim O'Doherty, everybody. He's got to split early. His wife's pregnant. And he's got to find the asswipe who knocked her up. And he turned around in the aisle and he hustled back to me and like put his hand over the mic. And he's like, "Look, this is a PG. This is a G-rated show." Like he had his mic hand over the mic, or like pulling the mic back and forth. He's like, "Don't be doing that. You can't do those kind of jokes." And I was like, "They laughed. And I'll never forget it. He goes, "It was an uncomfortable laugh. They laughed because they were uncomfortable." And we're this argument in front of this bleachers of people because he he didn't want to leave the mic in his nutball's hand because he had told Vin DeBona, like, don't worry, I know this guy. He's super funny. He knows what to do. But we were having this stupid argument in front of a crowd. He's like putting his
It's getting
hand
more
over the mic.
uncomfortable with every moment. And you put your hand over your heart.
Yeah, and I was like, Jim, they laughed. It was uncomfortable. They laughed because they're uncomfortable. It's an uncomfortable laugh. It's not the same as a regular laugh. It's an uncomfortable laugh. Now, don't screw me. And I'm like, oh, yeah. They're looking at us now, and he's grabbing the mic and pulling it back and forth. It was like so bad. And then he left.
Some
and
real all comedy.
That was it. That was my last. Like, I remember seeing him at the improv. He was like, took our improv class or something like the following Tuesday. He's like, Jim, what do you think, man? He's like, no way. No way. I'm like, come on, man. Yeah, like, please.
What show was this for?
That was Dom DeLuise did, what's Jim O'Doherty's? What's his stuff?
Well, he's a producer and writer best known for Grounded for Life and Third Rock. But then as far as warm-up goes, Unhappily Ever After, Suddenly Susan, and Married with Children.
Wow.
This is really interesting because when my dad moved here.
That show, that was Dom DeLuise took over one of those Vin DeBona shows. Like with, former Miss America. Like remember when former Miss America meant you could get a hosting gig for the rest of your life? Like, you could sell orange juice or you could get a sidekick job somewhere. Like, hey, former Miss America. Like, you just show up.
Sounded good.
Anita Bryan, former Miss America. Thank you for, selling orange juice. Or like, like that meant something.
Right.
Now you'd have no idea. Nobody could name me, unless they were in a sex scandal, nobody could name me the last 15 Miss America names. I have no idea.
But I couldn't definitively tell you it was still in the air.
That was good enough back then when they would have former Miss whatever. Right. And Dom DeLuise must have done like flubs and videos or funniest videos.
Sort of
like
a precursor to America's Fan.
Must have been like 1992 or something like that. Sorry. No, it was probably earlier. It was probably like 90, 91.
I'm trying to do the math because when my dad moved here when I was in high school, and we went to show tapings all the time when we came out here because that was a very glamorous thing for us to do living in Kansas. And when we went to a Married with Children taping, we had the raunchiest warm-up guy, and I was very young. And I remember the warm-up guy telling this joke, which I will never forget.
Was he tall?
Yes, he was tall.
Yes.
He said I mean, granted it was Married with Children, but a live studio audience, all ages, genders, races, and everything in between. He said to the crowd, "What did Cinderella say when she got to the ball?"
Oh, Jesus.
In front of a live studio audience at Married with Children. So maybe it was not your guy because he would never have let that happen.
Well, to be fair to
Depends on the show. Depends on the show, of course.
Jim had done Married with Children for years, and there was probably a pretty raucous Al Bundy type crowd there. But this was Dom DeLuise in Universal Studios, and he decided this is a different group. What was the show?
Candid Camera.
Candid Camera. Yeah, was that like 92?
91 to 92.
Yeah, so that's what I was doing in
He can read a room.
And 92. All right, let me tell you about Castrol Edge. Yes, there you go. Heat, friction, viscosity breakdown. Rob your engine of maximum performance. Friction results in a loss of performance of up to 10%. Castrol Edge, engineered with fluid titanium technology. It physically transforms to be stronger under pressure, helps fight friction, and delivers maximum levels of performance for your car. 3 times stronger against viscosity breakdown than leading oils. Get this stuff, pour it in your crankcase, take care of your car. Do what's good for you and good for your vehicle. Go full synthetic, especially Castrol Edge. And it's the second most valuable investment you're making. If you're renting, then it's your first most. It's your automobile. Take care of that automobile. Castrol Edge. Unlock the true performance in your car's engine with Castrol Edge. All right, so let's see. Christie's here. We're going to do some breaking down of TV commercials. What did we get? Bryan, what did we get? Got the hot shave.
The hot shave.
Room service, hot shave.
Yeah, I did watch some football with Chris and the ladies, and it was fun. And then came back, took a nap. While Chris took a nap, I finished watching football, and here we are.
A great crowd, a great group.
Absolutely.
everyone's been drinking and having a good time.
Yeah.
It's cool to see the repeat people.
Yeah, a lot of
what I mean? A lot of
repeats.
familiar faces. You have people you recognize from cruises past.
Nice to have someone propose and then another wedding after that. And I got to say, doing a show at the Moore and showing my stand-up special and showing Uppity and all that kind of stuff and doing the live shows, but I was nervous to do the wedding.
Were you really?
I was, because it's sort of official. It's kind of these people's day,
Yeah, it's their special moment.
I didn't really, know that much about the two of them. And I didn't feel like preparing. So you always have to balance that part where you're nervous about flopping versus refusing to prepare for something you don't get paid for.
It's a delicate balance.
It's a tightrope you walk. So I met with the couple, and beforehand I thought, I should meet with the couple, because that's what I hear people do.
Yeah.
I'm going to meet with the couple.
Minimum.
Counsel them.
Yeah.
I met with the couple, and I was like, what's your name, and what's your name, and what's your last name? And I just wrote it down phonetically. And then I was like, where did you guys meet? And then they met at
Match.com.
And, what do you do, and what do you do, and how long you known each other? And then she sort of told a sweet story about getting pregnant and all that stuff. And
that was a very fun thing.
Yeah.
I could tell they're both super nervous.
Sure.
Which...
well, there's also, and we should point out, standing in front of probably 200 strangers.
Yeah, this
however
is
many was.
This is at a VIP event.
Yeah, it was a packed house.
Yeah.
People that didn't know.
Yeah. But I was like, I felt like, I don't know, I felt like there was some sort of fiduciary duty or something that I wasn't going to be able to keep up with, because you can roast people, you can screw around, you can crack wise, you can be whatever.
You did all of that.
I did all that, but there's a sort of an official part where you have to actually marry someone. I had no idea of how that part went.
I love the part where you stopped and told the guy he was allowed to scat. Freestyle.
I was trying to buy some time.
Scat his vows.
Scat his vows.
Yeah.
But I think the audience really enjoyed it. I think they enjoyed it. It was certainly a novelty.
And it seemed like the groom was wired a little like you, because afterwards he said that he was very nervous to do this because he thought people were coming to this meet and greet. They wanted to see you, and they didn't want to have to sit through some random strangers getting married. And I was like, no. It was the opposite. It was fun. It was this huge surprise. Everybody loved it. But he's like, I'm not good enough to have strangers watch me get married. But they had a great time. And then Bryan and I signed their marriage certificate.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, when I was leaving, you guys were in a room because you were witnesses to their...
It's cool.
So actually, we made it official.
Yeah.
To their,
You did the ceremony, but we signed the legal
Dance
forms.
monkey.
I was happy and proud to show my stand-up special, which I had not revealed or showed to anybody, I don't think, thus far. People enjoyed that. I was glad you guys enjoyed that.
That's fantastic.
I think we both told you off the air that it was excellent.
Yeah,
Really,
so
really
we
well
shall-
done.
Yeah, I'm happy with it, and we'll see what goes on with that. As we speak, then later on tonight we'll show Uppity, which is many of the people saw a sort of uncompleted version of it last time we're on the ship, and we'll see just how far it's come. But I say this every time, but they say, oh, it's a rough cut, and everyone goes, oh, yeah, and then you go, it's not color corrected or sound mix, there's no titles or lower thirds or whatever, and it goes, yeah.
It's fine.
But when you put all that stuff in, it just makes it
a movie.
It just completes it, and no matter how good your imagination is, it's always nice to see all that. So everyone listening, some of you have pre-ordered it. We're dealing with the showtime. We're dealing with, having to sell it, and we're dealing, it's one of these things where we're going to finish it, we're going to sell it, we're going to put it on Amazon, and then, everyone could see it, or wherever it was going to end up. But then Showtime got interested in it, and the next thing you know, it turned into sort of something else, and the something else is more phone calls and more emails and more people are out of the office and more... hey, baby doll, can you talk to so-and-so? And she's on vacation, and it's Yom Kippur, and she's not around, or whatever the hell is going on. They're all Jews.
Yep.
So it didn't, so it's still the reason we can't quite release it yet is because we're still trying to sort of hammer out this Showtime thing, yay or nay, but we have to sort of figure it out with them. So we'll keep everyone posted.
Well,
but,
people will be delighted once they see it. It's great.
I think so, and I'm looking forward to everyone seeing the final product tonight. So, Christie.
Can I say something briefly first?
Yes.
Pertaining to Christie. You guys, everyone in the room, surprised me at the Moore show with the amazing video, and the cake came out and everyone said happy birthday, and people on the ship a lot of people were at that show and they're asking, did you know it was going to happen? Absolutely not. I was completely surprised. If I had known, I would have planned something better to say afterwards, because I was like, thanks, you guys. Thanks. I was so surprised. It was awesome. I can't wait to actually see the video myself without the noise and everything. But if I can say thanks to Christie for helping set up. She sent a ton of pictures, all the old pictures you saw.
Oh, yeah.
Chris, of course, put the whole thing together. Gary was very instrumental in doing a lot of the videos.
Dylan, too.
Yeah, thanks, Dylan. I didn't know that because he wasn't there. But it was an awesome effort, and really, really, really was surprising and was very heartwarming. I should have said thanks to Christie. Deb Barge was there. She was backstage. I should have said thanks to her, but it was a cool surprise, and it was overwhelming, to say the least. So thank you guys.
It was a great night, and yes, you were a little bit tongue tied.
I was legitimately shocked,
which means you were legitimately caught off guard and taken by surprise. All right, I think what we should do is I should give our love to Tommy John, and then we'll take the break. Then we'll bring Christie and we'll do our commercial commentary, because who would know better than Christie? Tommy John doesn't give an F; they give 3 Fs. Everybody, fabric, fit, and function. Proprietary fabric that performs like nothing you've ever worn before. No wedgie guaranteed. Comfortable. Stay put waistband. Luxurious, soft, feather-light, moisture wicking, breathable fabrics designed to move with you. No bunching or riding up. If you don't love your first pair, well, then you'll get a full refund. But you will love your first pair, because you'll love every pair. I'm sure everyone here packed their Tommy Johns.
Yep.
I am
They're excellent for travel.
Wearing mine as we speak. Everyone, lightweight, dries fast. It's great. Like if you go to the gym and you run a little on the treadmill and you work up a little lather, you just hang them out, balcony, get a little sea air on that thing. They're dried up by dinner. Includes women's underwear as well. First batch sold out in 6 weeks. Now fully back in stock. Tommy John, no adjustment needed. Right, Dawson?
Hurry to TommyJohn.com/Adam for 20% off your first order. That's TommyJohn.com/Adam for 20% off. TommyJohn.com/Adam.
All right. We'll take a quick break. We'll do good sports, and then we'll come back and do our commercial commentary with a pro, Christie Bishop, right after this. Well, we're back in the room. This time, Christie Bishop has joined us. We're going to break down some of these commercials. That's what she does for a living. First, quick heads up to some of the guys that sponsor this show. MedMen. I want to thank MedMen for sponsoring this half of the show, and True Car as well. So, Christie, thanks for joining us.
Her first cruise ever.
Her first cruise ever. Oh, that's right.
Yeah, ever.
And you're enjoying yourself. You got a nice massage.
Got a lot of champagne, nice massage, a good hangover going.
Yeah, I saw you guys walking around yesterday about, 11:30 in the morning with a nice flute of champagne.
I haven't seen you guys without a drink in your hand.
This
matter
is
what for
unusual.
right now.
Yeah.
Except for right now.
For right now.
The massage. I'm curious about this. Bryan, any thoughts about whether the masseuse is male or female?
For me or for her?
As it pertains to your wife.
To your lady.
It's a little better when it's female, but I don't have that much anxiety about it.
Right.
Like, given the choice, I'll always
Given
choose
the
female.
choice.
Given the choice, I'm certainly not going to be upset about it. You know, it's kind of like it's like the women who consider I know women who consider it cheating if their boyfriends or husbands go on a bachelor party to a strip club.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I'm not to that
That's
level.
insane.
Yeah,
Those
that's
people are
ridiculous. That's
psychotic.
ridiculous. So
Mm-hmm.
I would prefer it. You know, given all things being equal, but if it's the only thing that she can do,
She's not getting a rub and tug.
that's
Well,
No, but
I'll
it's
tell you,
today
today was a little intimate, I'm not going to lie.
They're putting your hands on.
That's right.
Their hands on
Yeah,
it.
she went places that they don't normally go.
Oh,
And
good
I
for
was
her.
sitting there, I was laying there. She was Scottish. She was lovely,
Yeah.
wonderful. And I'm like, oh, you're a little close to the V.
Yeah,
Little
but
class
see,
value.
if that's
yeah,
a
and then
dude,
she did like
right.
a
Beef
flip up
value.
of the towel, because like they typically don't. They
Right.
like kind of tuck it in really
Yeah.
tightly.
Right.
This was a flip up to see like kind of what was happening, and I was like, you just did the flip. I just
Right.
did the towel flip. What the fuck?
Wow.
So then for 10 minutes, I laid there like, should I say something? Should I just, no, just shut up, you're fine.
Yeah.
It was a little weird.
Not good if it's a dude.
No.
So I think in terms of that kind of stuff, like a gynecologist, we hope for a woman first. And second, we hope for an Asian man or a man of some nationality that we don't completely identify with or we might not run into in a fantasy football draft.
Old man is fine. Young,
old
good-looking dude is way at the bottom of the list.
Right.
Gay man.
Yeah, but gay is fine.
Yeah.
Gay is fine.
yeah, so
although
right.
I don't know.
I don't consider that a man.
Are there a lot of gay gynecologists?
No, they're
Chris, look it up.
repulsed. They're repulsed by that.
They certainly don't take their work home with them. That's for damn sure.
Well done.
So, Christy, your title once again, just because it's not in front of me, professionally.
Professionally, so general manager for an advertising agency, and I also run strategic planning and analytics for the same advertising
So you
agency.
see a lot of campaigns. You guys discuss your own campaigns. You discuss other campaigns. Some you go, oh, that's a strong campaign. That's great. I
Yes.
wish we'd thought of that. Others are like, God, that is weak. I can't believe that got off the ground.
Yep.
You have that opinion like I have about houses because I'm a carpenter. And when I walk in, I have thoughts.
Yeah,
So that
it's the behind the scenes bit.
You have thoughts. All right. So I'm very interested in commercials and sort of breaking down the game film. I study them as well as Dawson. I think Dawson and me are the last guys to really just watch commercials. I think everyone else, when I tell them about a commercial, they go, oh, who even watch? You just fast forward, you power through it. I don't even watch them anymore. But I always watch commercials.
If it wasn't for live sports, I probably would never see a commercial.
I don't. I tape almost everything and I fast forward, but when something pops up that catches my eye, I stop and I go
back it
back
up, yeah.
and I study it, and then I study it again and I study again, and then whoever's in the room with me leaves and goes, "You fucking asshole! I can't watch shows with you." So I'm curious why Dawson watches commercials over and over again. It feels very un-Dawson to me. Like it doesn't. I feel like when I'm going to pitch these commercials to Dawson, he's going to go, oh, fuck, who cares? I don't even watch that shit. Like, I'm fast-forwarding that stuff. But you do watch commercials. Why? I mean,
It's the whole sign of the times.
sign of the times. That's all right. I don't want to
Dawson's
put you
deep.
on mic. But
Dawson's got some
Dawson
surprising
focuses
deepness.
on that. I like that. All right. Then for Christy, it's kind of her job.
Yeah.
So
And she can quickly ascertain what's going on in not just a commercial, but like we'll sit around and talk about commercials if we see one during a show or a live sporting event, and she can quickly ascertain what was going on in the thought process behind
that.
the ad campaign. You know what I mean?
It's called a reverse brief, basically.
Yeah,
if you
it's-
had to give the assignment, if the client was giving the assignment to the agency, it's like ideally one line, and you're like, okay, this is the reverse brief, this is what they asked for. So we'll go through some of that.
The ones that bother me the most are the ones that are confusing, like the McDonald's Egg McMuffin commercial where you got the red-haired girl driving the minivan and then the red-haired girl on the Harley.
Harley.
Is that her alter ego who gets to have breakfast sandwiches? It's like, no, it's just supposed to be two different people. It's like, why'd you hire two actresses that look exactly the same with red goddamn hair? Just hire a black chick to ride the minivan or ride the hog, and then she'll drive the minivan. It's like, because and then we'd stop it and have arguments like, no, that's her. No, that's not her.
Or there's so many people behind the scenes arguing about it, or like, I like this actress, or I want this person, or my daughter
But
really
how
likes
do you
that
end up
one.
with two redheads with green eyes that are diminutive playing this weird alter ego role? Like she stops and she looks at her at the stoplight. She looks at her at the stoplight, and you're like, does she wish she wasn't a mom and she had the freedom to get her Egg McMuffin and hit the open highway? Why would you
really
enter
do
that? Why
We
would
shouldn't
you
have to burn calories figuring this out.
Why are you bringing that up? Why are you making me think about this? You can have an Asian woman. Like you're always going for this diversity BS. Why not just go with a different woman or man or whatever?
Someone has a fetish.
There's a campaign that's been running for years that messed that up. I think it's Esurance, but whoever it is, it's like we treat you like you treat
Yes.
you, and they call. Remember, the person calls customer service and
Right.
they
It's
answer
them.
the phone.
Yeah.
Right.
But the first one was a girl and her twin sister answered the phone.
Yeah.
And it completely messed everything
It was
up.
so confusing.
That's so
Yeah.
against the message.
Yeah.
The
Right.
message is brilliant. We treat you like you treat you. Oh, makes sense.
Except
And-
not for
Right.
twin
I always
sister.
have to watch that and try to figure out, is that the same sassy black chick or is it another sassy black chick? But the first one did it with a twin.
Yeah, because remember she called
Yes.
her,
Yes.
the girl even addressed how nice she was on the phone.
And at the
Yeah,
end,
she
it's
was
like,
like,
Tammy? Deborah?
yeah.
It's you? Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, why are you screwing with your own campaign?
Yeah.
The McDonald's one drove me insane. Yes.
Speaking of McDonald's, I have to know if you guys remember this commercial. I think it was from the 90s. And Christy, I would love to know if you thought this was the right choice. Do you remember the Tug at Your Heartstrings McDonald's commercial? They had a boy with Down syndrome, an adult, and he was doing the voiceover, and he was saying how his whole life, he's struggled and people have need to help him. Mm-hmm. And it was a monologue, this tear-jerking, heartbreaking monologue. And at the very end,
Bobby Barasini comes flying in, whacks him in the head, and goes, "Get over it, bitch!"
Tire iron. It was never the same.
He spins around in that patented brown polyester McDonald's gi and says, "Now I finally get to say, welcome to McDonald's. May I help you?" And everyone was a puddle of tears.
I do not remember
You
that.
don't know.
Some of us
Strong.
Do you remember that, Brian?
I do, because I was like 12.
remember that at all.
Yeah, we
I
were
remember
young.
that one too.
Yeah.
And I remember the best McDonald's is when they just go full urban. Like they go, "I own my own McDonald's in the neighborhood." And then it's all the happy black people like walking in and out.
Christy, no, they have
target audience.
urban, not sections, but the departments, the cultural,
multicultural marketing. Yes,
That's right.
there's the
Multicultural
urban
marketing.
department.
Yeah, sorry, urban department.
Mike, use your phone. Find out how old Bobby Barasini is. All right. So our first commercial is, we have Nike, we have the Toyota truck one, and then what was the first one? Pizza Hut. That one drove me insane. I was watching this commercial. They had Maya Angelou sound alike doing this
Voice
poem
match.
about lines and dividing, and it was a very sort of Trump 2018 race, dividing, coming together, blah blah blah, and not till the end did we find out it was about pizza.
That was quite a reveal.
It didn't even seem like a
And
food
it was
commercial.
also you got to think of where this is playing. This is playing during Monday Night Football.
Well,
Like
they're the pizza sponsor. They took over for Papa John's. So this was their introductory ad.
I should point out,
to
Christy
NFL.
has notes upon notes. She did her
Okay.
research.
She came with a dossier.
Don't get the good vibes for the Monday Night dudes. But all right, we'll play the commercial, sir.
Lines can separate us. The line of scrimmage separates this team from that team. Goal lines separate victory from defeat. Yard lines separate how far we've come from how far we have to go. But if we look beyond the lines, all that's left is common ground. We're more than just pizza. We're the
Interracial gay.
when the lines
Intergacial.
Okay, Christy was just feverishly shaking her head. Why was that?
It's like two different commercials in one. So when I saw it for the first time, I was like, oh, this actually could be good. Maybe this will end like it's ESPN.
Right.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, we're building to something. And then it's like, pizza. Everybody loves pizza. Everybody loves football. Bring them together. And I'm like, wait, you had something awesome. And then you just completely cut away. And by the way, I did a little bit of reading after I watched it. And there are undertones of racial inequality in this or racial equality. I'm like, no, it's not. Just because all the football players happen to be African American, then the guy who gets pizza delivered to his house is white. We're not talking about racial equality. You're just bringing people together over pizza. But it's confusing and it doesn't really stand for anything. That's the problem. People will forget it.
How many of these commercials are made sort of to make everyone happy in-house or even to make the client happy, but not really, are we moving units of pizza? Like in my thing, it's always like, you tell me 2 large, $9.99, 2 toppings, and I'm out the door. But this doesn't make me want pizza.
No.
It just makes me nod my head and go, yeah.
That's
they're
not the
right.
point of
them.
this one. So if we can I'll get nerdy for a second. So this is called a brand ad. It's just introducing Pizza Hut as a brand. And the Pizza Hut GSD&M, which is an agency in Austin, they just won the Pizza Hut business. It's like $300 million. Oh
my God.
This is their debut commercial with them. So it took a month to make. And the new chief brand officer at Pizza Hut is saying, we want to share a message of unity and inclusiveness and fun. And pizza is all of those things. And so is football. That's the whole message in the ad.
So is this a statement or a safe statement? So this was week 1 of Monday Night Football.
Yes.
So this is our, hey, everybody, we're here. We got good vibes.
Yeah.
We love everybody. We don't need to sell any pizza. We just want you just go ahead and sniff my hand, all you dogs, and know that we're good.
wanna
We're not
sell
going to
the
hurt
brand,
you. I'm
yes.
not Bobby Barcini. I'm not going to raise a hand.
No tire
and then,
irons.
as we get to week 11, it'll be extra cheese
Yes.
in the crust,
Yes.
double
With
crust,
hot
stuffed
dogs.
with hot
Delivered under
sauce,
30
3
minutes.
pizzas
Yes.
in under 8 minutes. You're home in your mouth.
Yes.
Right. So this is our soft launch kind of. Hey, everyone get to know
First
who we
thing,
are.
It's a soft
Yeah.
sell. It's a total soft sell. It's a brand ad. The thing is, they don't stand for anything. So there's a metric in research for. We actually do measure a lot of this stuff.
Second
Go
one.
ahead.
I'll let you continue, but Papa John, who used to inhabit this throne, has been ousted because
Yes.
of a kind of a racial thing.
Yes.
So are they going, hey, the last guy, this guy was a monster.
subtext
Yeah.
And now
Oh, yeah.
we're coming
Tire
in.
irons
Before they're
Let
away.
everyone know
Yeah.
we ain't no Papa John over here. We love
Yeah.
everybody. And then we'll get into selling units later. Like
Yes.
some of this is based on Papa John's.
Oh yeah, they came in right at the last minute, and they were
Right.
Yeah. So,
Swooped in.
but the issue is, no one's going to remember that this is Pizza Hut. You're barely going to remember it's pizza. First of all, so we measure 2 things. One is called recall. So it's how do you remember the ad. The second thing is attribution. So who's the ad for? I mean, I honestly, I don't know. I haven't seen research on it. I don't think anyone would remember that this is A for pizza or B for Pizza Hut.
Yeah,
they're
you
still
think,
going to
like-
remember Papa John's because they were there for years and years.
Right.
They have a presence,
Right.
And they also have a total issue at the very end.
Right.
I think, Brian, I think you may have said that when we first saw the commercial and stopped it before the reveal. I absolutely agree with you. You're like, is this like Ameritrade or
Right,
something?
yes.
It seemed very
Oh, yeah, yeah.
financial.
Yes.
It didn't seem like a food
But
commercial.
it was building to something kind of cool,
Right.
and then it was like, no, done. Yeah,
Right.
and here's some pizza.
All right, so not effective, but not trying to be effective per
Just
se.
trying to
like
introduce the brand.
just we need our first Monday Night Football. We want good vibes everywhere,
Yeah.
no complaints, and then we'll start getting into moving units
Totally.
as the season wears on.
It's not offensive, totally generic. Will people remember it? Maybe not. It's a totally okay ad, but when you're spending millions of dollars on 30 seconds, you need to make it count.
yeah.
Papa John Phillips was the mamas and the papas guy, was he not?
Yep.
Look that up. That was Papa
Yeah.
John, right? Phillips.
Mackenzie Phillips' dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who
Also a
had,
sordid past.
consensual sex
Yeah.
with his adult daughter,
And a monkey.
which is weird.
And at that point, what does consensual mean when you've brainwashed your daughter into thinking that that's okay?
That was her idea.
Okay.
I don't know, but that sort of in a world of where, like I remember when Liberace had his young boyfriend and he was getting him plastic surgery
Yep,
to look like him. I remember at the time going, we're not making enough of this. Like this is much weirder than we're giving it credit for.
Yeah.
We have some sort of weird brain where it's like Papa John Phillips and consensual sex with his adult daughter, and Liberace having a boyfriend who's 22 and getting plastic surgery so he looks like himself so he can have sex with himself, and Al Franken, it's all about the same thing.
Yeah.
It's all about the
It's
same
all
thing.
ten.
This one guy's a comedian who was goofing off on a C-130 transport plane with his hands over a flak jacket, and then there's this guy and that guy, and let's put him in the same category.
Al, you're out. Get over there, Jared Fogle. Get over there,
right.
Jared.
All right, so not a good spot according to you, Christy, or
I think it's just totally innocuous. No one's going to. It's fine. It's fine. But I think that they could have been a lot harder hitting. They had to choose a direction. They didn't really choose a direction that was just very inoffensive.
the part that bothered me the most was the line of scrimmage, the line between two teams. They kept putting it on a line,
Yeah.
which is like football's not on a line. The line of scrimmage is never like the 5-yard line or the 10-yard line. It's the 3-yard
It's
line
very
or the
rarely,
7-yard line. They just kept showing the line. It got me angry.
I mean, honestly, the obvious way to go with that is to talk about the actual pizza and like art direction. Just show a line and then like back out from it and make it like a cut in the pizza.
Yeah.
And like, oh, here's a line on the
see.
football
Thank
team.
you.
That's
Here's
why
a
she
line
gets
on
the
the
big
pizza.
bucks.
everybody.
Done.
That's
It's
why.
like there's none of that. So maybe by week 11 we'll see lines on the pizza.
But then also,
Their square pizza.
the difference between the audience, like you talked about, like urban stuff or multicultural stuff. So, like, okay, in the past it was like, oh, malt liquor and mint cigarettes or whatever it is, and menthol cigarettes and all that kind of stuff. It's like, oh, urban stuff. And then there was other stuff for like other people and like women's stuff and guy stuff and stuff like that. So you're doing this commercial. At some point, the red-haired guy puts his hand on the shoulder of the black guy and caresses it. What percentage of the Monday Night Football crowd is going, finally, gay guys on TV? Awesome. Now I want some pizza. Like, what? I get it, good vibes, but I mean, like, who's your audience? Like, what percentage
it's the kitchen sink. It's football, people who watch football. That's it.
Okay, so
Guaranteed,
why do you
that's
need
it.
the gay couple represent the
'Cause maybe they
multicultural
watch
gay
football.
couple? No. Why do you need the multicultural gay couple in that crew? Like, isn't this more for the shareholders or the people you work with or the people in Madison Avenue? Like, you don't go, we have a large percentage of multicultural gay couples watching Monday Night Football, or a large percentage of people who think there should be more multicultural gay couples. They're not represented at all in the audience of Monday Night Football.
No.
So why in the commercial, if not?
Because it's about dividing. So if I had to reverse brief it, it would be like, the world is divided. Let's focus on what brings us together. And what are our similarities? And whether you're gay, whether you're straight, whether you're white, whether you're black, whether you're young, whether you're old, whatever, whether you watch football or you don't, you love pizza.
Okay. All right. But if you hate gay people and
Don't
you like
watch
Monday
this
Night
out.
Go to Domino's.
then you're going to be mad at Pizza Hut. All right. Well, it's kind of weird. I mean, if you really think about the message, so the message more and more is, this country's divided and there's hate everywhere and there's dog whistles and we're getting the base fired up and everyone is homophobic and xenophobic and blah, blah, blah. If that was like really the case, like if you went like, hey, man, half the people voted for Trump and that means half the country's basically racist or homophobic or whatever. Why are we weaving in so much of it into our commercials? Like, wouldn't you be going, hey, you're going to piss off half the country? Like, I don't think they think it's that. I think it's more rhetoric. But what I'm saying is it's a weird thing to say, this is who we are as a country, and then weave this, like, I've not seen like the Islamic Pizza Hut commercials, but I guess they don't have like gay guys like putting their
Probably
arms
not,
on
no.
each other because they go like, hey, you're going to piss off the constituency.
Yeah.
Like there's an angry crowd here. I think
But
we
this is
say
just a soft sell. It's just like you said, it's a soft sell for everything, trying to appeal to everybody.
we say we're closed off and angry and bigoted, but if we were really that way, every commercial wouldn't be what it is.
Right.
All right. Sorry. Thank you. What's next? Now we have
This is the new Nike campaign.
the new Nike. I haven't even seen this
Okay.
one.
This one's about 2 minutes long, so just stop it whenever.
This is the director's cut, the full.
Holding the mic to the screen, but where is
say your dreams are crazy, if they laugh at what you think you can do,
Ooh, guy with no legs beating another kid.
You have feelings about that,
stay
Adam?
that way.
I don't like it. I feel bad for the kids who got beat.
Fail to understand is that calling a dream crazy is not an insult.
I like the big wave, Ryan.
It's a compliment.
Oh, is this Caelan?
Try to be the fastest
Doing the VO?
in your school or the fastest in the world. Be the fastest ever. Don't picture yourself wearing OBJ's jersey. Picture OBJ wearing yours. Don't settle for homecoming
OBJ.
or linebacker.
Yeah, I know. I had to think about that for a second. Was he
Lose
the
120 pounds
29th
and
president?
become an Iron Man after beating a brain tumor. Don't believe you have to be like anybody
Yeah.
to be somebody.
Ugh.
If you're born a refugee, don't let it stop you from playing soccer or the
That's
national
all you
team.
do. What are you talking about?
Don't become
That's
the
why they
best
invented
basketball player
soccer
on
for
the planet.
refugees.
Be bigger than basketball.
Yeah.
Believe
Dawson,
in
give me the
something,
trash can. I got to
Talk to
heave.
Adam about this one.
even if
Really
it
good.
means sacrificing everything. When they talk about the greatest team in the history of the sport, make sure it's your team. If you have only one hand,
All right. That's
don't
enough.
just
No,
I've
keep
seen
going.
enough.
No, you're almost there.
Play.
Come on, you almost made it.
at the highest level. And if you're a girl from Compton, don't just become a tennis player. Become the greatest athlete ever. Yeah, that's more like it. So don't ask if your dreams are crazy. Ask if they're crazy enough.
None of this means anything to all the losers that are watching this. They're all going to flounder. It's horrible. I hate it.
Oh boy, here we
I
go.
hate it because I wish
I'm getting my
Nike.
battle gear on.
I wish Nike
My
meant
helmet.
1 second of any of this. It all just feels like they're just
Blowhards.
Ad was pulling the tire iron out from underneath his chair to come at me.
I hate all this shit because I hate everyone who's empowered and everyone who's living their dreams. That's why everyone's such a shitty employee now because they all think they're going to do something.
I love this ad, Adam.
It's a great ad, but it's just more just jacking off into a ceiling fan. It's like,
It's not.
fuck
They're
cares?
taking a stand. The granddaddy of football, the sponsor of NFL, chose a side. That's amazing. They chose a side. I've been waiting. Listen, like, this is political. Actually, it's not. It's polarizing. It's controversial. I get it. But everyone's talking about it. And people are burning their New Balances because they think they're Nikes and putting them on YouTube. I'm like, what the fuck? This is how invested. Like, I will never buy another Nike. Here's my fucking New Balance in a pile of fire. All right, good for you. But I've been waiting for. It's an old man who was holding it over his trash can. He's like, never again. Whatever. I've been waiting for someone to pick up Colin.
It's a great idea. Don't get me wrong. It's all based on bullshit. The whole Colin Kaepernick thing's based on bullshit. It's all fucking lie, and this is more bullshit. But it's great. No, what he's doing is based on nothing and a lie. He's not a hero, and it's all bullshit. But
that being said,
it's a good. Well, it's bullshit. I don't know what you want me to do. It's like his whole thing is based on a lie. It's insane, but. Good for him. Good for Nike. You know,
he's cashing in.
We're not here to debate whether he's right or wrong. We're here to debate whether it's a good campaign or not. It's a good campaign. I don't like the empowering of everything. I don't like all this. Like you do it. It's great for them.
You're in the wrong era, buddy.
They make a ton
You are
of money.
not the audience
They
for this.
are making a army of horrible people based on this. It's not as bad, and they're such fucking blowhards. I wish they cared. Like, I wish Nike, I wish I thought they cared about anything but money, but this is great.
And you made a great point about, I believe it was another Nike campaign, when they paraded all these athletes that were women and say, like, why don't we get paid? Where are our sponsorships?
Right.
I don't know, Nike. Why aren't you doing something about it?
I've never seen that commercial online, and somebody must have burned it because it was like, I sweat, I bleed, I work.
Yeah.
How come I don't get the deal that Michael Jordan gets? Or I sweat. It's
That's
all
a
the
good
chicks out
question.
there
It is a
working.
good
It's
question.
like,
Answer
it's a
it,
good
yeah.
question. But Nike, it's your commercial, so
Yeah.
go ahead and give Cheryl Swoops.
You could change it like that.
Give her $5 million a year or $100 million a year for a shoe commercial.
Yeah.
Like, you could change it. It's a crazy commercial to make because Nike at the time was the endorser of all these big contracts. Idea that they would make this commercial.
Well, but this one's different. So that if we'll be technical about it. We'll
Sure.
keep all the shit out to the side. This is an evolution of just do it. So just do it turns into dream crazy. And the crazier you can dream, the bigger, the better,
is that
the whatever.
the second one?
No, this one is all about dream crazy.
He says, don't ask if your dreams are crazy, ask if they're crazy enough.
Right.
And so the whole thing's called Dream Crazy. And you've got all these people in there doing these impossible things. And actually, I believe the woman in the wheelchair who's the basketball player, she's fairly famous, and I can't recall her name at the moment. He's a figurehead. I would guess he's not going to continue in the campaign. He's just hey, here's a lightning rod. Let's get everyone watching.
He's the Grand Marshal.
He's the Grand Marshal. I don't know for
Then they'll start focusing on other subjects.
Exactly right, in other stories. So he's
like the Colonel Sanders. Like Colonel Sanders.
yes, exactly. Yeah, so that's my guess. But the target for this are 18 to 29-year-old men and women, both. Well, I'm not going to say men. People who are looking for a purpose in a brand, looking for a purpose in product, and they want something to believe in. You can't believe in anything bigger than Dream Crazy.
Yeah.
So you got Pizza Hut, like, oh, football's nice, pizza's nice. This is like fucking big, dream huge. The crazier, the better. And if you want to do that, buy Nike.
It's a good. It's a good
So
commercial.
as an ad, it's brilliant.
The strategy's brilliant. Everything's brilliant. Like it's
Well, we're
and I know
talking
people
about
are
it. It's
gonna.
working.
Yeah.
I've had like 10 or 15 people on the cruise ask me about this and what I think. I'm like, wait for the show, but I mean, it's polarizing. It's really polarizing, and that's okay because
I
we're
think it's a
talking about
good
it.
campaign. I just think it's all based on bullshit. And Kaepernick's a bullshitter, too. But other than that,
You know how they
first
say-
off, isn't the guy half white? Wasn't he like adopted by white people and all that shit? Like, this whole fucking victim card thing is way the fuck over the shark in terms of what we're doing as a society. But I hear he's a good guy.
Oh,
He's on the wrong side of the issue, and he's creating it's irresponsible. His message is wildly irresponsible. He's going to get people hurt. But other than that, he's a dear friend.
Well,
I got to deal with Mark Garagos. So it's a bullshit. He's full of shit. He's fucking lying. The whole thing is a lie. It's insane. If you look at the numbers, it doesn't exist. He's creating a problem that he has created, or he's perpetuating a problem.
And on the other
But
side
anyway.
of that, you have all of these people who find him hugely inspirational because he went against the grain and he
Right.
kept doing it.
And all those people are going to be fucking losers.
They're all buying Nike.
Right, but
All the way
nothing's
to
going
the
to work
bank.
for any of those people. Those people are like, I'm going to open my own casino because Colin said it'd be a good idea. I'm dropping out of the 9th grade. I'm going to open my own casino.
Brian,
and it'll
don't get
never
any
work.
ideas.
But it's awesome.
Sounds awesome.
It's
actually.
awesome.
You know the phrase, history is written by the victors. History is. This is. Colin Kaepernick has won. Like in terms of the NFL Colin Kaepernick thing. This is the knockout blow. This is. The NFL has a boss, and it's Budweiser and Nike and whoever else, Chevy, whoever's paying the bills.
Pizza Hut.
Not Papa John's.
The boss who's paying the bills, Nike, chose Colin Kaepernick. Like that's the knockout punch.
Yeah,
It's
good
over.
point.
No, he's definitely won. He won. Everyone watching the commercial is going to lose.
Right or
That's
wrong.
who it is. And he's
18-year-old
on the
boys,
wrong
they all
side.
won.
And he's sending a message that's perpetuating something that's insanely dangerous to all the people that are watching, especially of color. But other than that, good. Hammer that check.
The
God
first
bless
10
you.
seconds of that ad are hard to watch just because that guy's nuts get railed so hard as he falls off the skateboard. And I'm like,
Oh, yeah,
my
that's tough.
God, it's horrible. But then it picks up from there.
Yeah.
Well, at least that guy can't have kids. We don't want skateboarders having kids. All right, let me tell you about MedMen. We got one more commercial to go. MedMen, today's cannabis consumers everywhere, everyone. Let's drop the labels. At MedMen, you're an executive, your dad, your customer. There's something for everyone, whether you're new to the cannabis or familiar, like lotions, edibles, vape pens, bath bombs, and more. Touch screens that allow you to view in-depth product info and red-shirted staff that's incredibly knowledgeable and puts you at ease. So whatever you need, whatever you're looking for out of life, you head over to MedMen. You check out one of their 14 retail locations in L.A., Orange County, San Diego, and coming soon, awesome new store on the Las Vegas Strip, everyone.
Whoa.
So visit medmen.com and find the store nearest you at MedMen. Right, Dawson?
And for our listeners, visit any MedMen and mention Adam Carolla at checkout for $10 off your order. Keep out of reach of children for use only by adults 21 years of age or older. Check out MedMen today.
Toyota
like
truck
Chuck.
one, which was kind of fun.
I'm already intrigued.
They got Chuck Norris.
Here we go.
Here we go. Breaks
Chopped right through.
cinder block in half.
Can you sign my Tacoma? I'll be glad to.
Signs the guy's truck. Truck becomes famous.
Super do not
Fist of a
attempt.
legend.
Dramatization.
Yeah.
Toyota Jesus.
There's a lot of like stunt driver, professional driver, closed course, do not
Yeah.
attempt.
Save
Magical
the day
winch not available. Dramatization.
and the night.
Bit of disco.
With all
Guy
the
falls from
right
scaffolding
moves
and
Again, do not
moves
attempt. BSC
you
turned
never
up.
right there to
expected.
catch him, gets a
Trucks
cat
in
out
the
of a
tree.
Born to outsmart
Wins
the
chess.
competition and lives to
Serves a giant
conquer
wave.
any
Do not
challenge.
attempt.
A
Fictionalization.
hero so fearless, so
All right. This is
You
more
get it.
than
Kicks
just
a
guy
insane.
in a
Do
kung
not
fu
attempt
battle.
everything. We have to put on everything all the time.
Did it really say do not attempt under all those?
Every
stupid-
single one. Well, so this is a legal department's nightmare. This ad, because
Right.
they're basically the fun police. So anytime you put together an ad, the very last minute you go through legal, and they're like, no, you can't do this, can't do this, can't do this, can't say that, can't show this. This one, God bless that legal team because they let it all go through. I mean, the car's surfing, the car's doing hand-to-hand combat.
Well, you mentioned to me
wild.
that either the legal team took a day off or the CEO pushed it through.
Yeah,
Still
one of
sometimes
the,
that
I mean,
happens.
someone with clout, or I mean, again, God bless them, they had a fun legal team.
Well,
It's
I've
fine.
seen a bunch of insane commercials. It's just, but you tell me. Like, I've seen the one where, like, the Humvee drove off the Santa Monica Pier and then turned
Right.
into a submarine and went underwater. And it seems to me like they do whatever you want, but we must put a thing
Yes.
at the bottom that says this is not real. So
For
you
complete morons who
you
would
can go to
attempt that.
outer
Right.
space
Yeah.
in your Mini Cooper. We just need to write
Yes.
you can't go to outer space in your Mini Cooper on the bottom.
It's the fun police all the time. It makes me crazy. But there's a difference between demonstration ads where you see like a tow truck towing, like this cruise ship, and it's
Right.
like, oh, it actually has that capability, and they claim it. versus a dramatization or fictionalization, which every single
Can't we just
second of
kind of
that ad
assume
was
that a truck can't surf?
Don't ever assume.
Okay.
As my
But
dad taught
here's-
me, makes an ass out of you and me.
Got it.
The one that drove me the most nuts is it as sad as it is, like I will make this conceit that, well, if you take the Humvee and you drive down the pier and you blow through the railing at the end of the pier and it goes underwater, you're going to die. It's not going to turn into a submarine.
Room service.
My room service is here. My
Room
in-room
service
massage
here.
is here.
More donuts.
Somebody's out there. Anyway, who's going to turn my towel to the shape of a reindeer and leave it on my bed?
Favorite part.
It really is great.
But so like that's kind of like I get it, but maybe we need to prevent one moron from thinking they can drive off the end of the pier. I don't appreciate it. I don't wish it, but it's what I mean is it's possible for me to get in a Humvee and to go down to a pier
and kill
and
yourself.
to drive it off the end of the pier. There are other ones where they're going to outer space, and the
surfing.
famous one that always drove me nuts, which was the Subaru commercial where all the cars were driving around on their front wheels, leaned up at 45 degrees. Like, hey, we're all-wheel drive. We're not just front wheel, and we're driving around on front wheels. Where you could try all you want, you can't do that in your car. And if you can't do it in your car, why do we have to warn you not to do something you can't
by
do?
all means attempt. It's not going to happen.
Yeah,
There's
go
the
and
one
attempt.
person who throws it off of a bridge to get the two wheels, and then they get sued, and they go out of business.
nobody-
It's just-
That's her
it's wild.
thing. That's
didn't-
not
No,
on
agreed.
us.
But it is.
No, but this one
Let these
was just
people kill
everyone
themselves.
driving down the street on their front
Yeah.
wheels. Like you couldn't.
impossible.
You couldn't do it. Like again, driving to the bay. I guess you could do it. You go full Ted Kennedy.
So this is apropos of nothing, but I actually didn't catch the beginning of the ad. I had to watch it 3 times in order to understand Chuck Norris's signature actually turned the car into this like magical action here. I didn't catch that.
It was kind
so
of a
fast.
weird. It was weird because I was thinking, like, is this the Chuck Norris signature series, or was
it's
it
just the
Like the
Tacoma.
Eddie Bauer
did the
Jeep?
signature turn the truck into it,
Yes,
or did they just
apparently.
hire the truck, or it's a truck? The new
Because it burned. It's like he did a signature, and then all of a sudden the truck catches fire, and then it goes through the sequences of action hero stuff.
I agree with you in that I hate it when I have to go back and watch a commercial 4 times to sort of figure out where that turning
The
point
advertiser
was.
loves it.
I know, but that I wish they'd spent an extra second and a half on the magical powers of Chuck Norris and there's the
There it
Subaru
is.
commercial
There it
where
is.
everyone's driving around on their front and or rear wheels, and they're telling you do not attempt to do this, which is impossible, but okay.
And no disrespect to Chuck Norris, but isn't the whole Chuck Norris thing kind of played out?
yeah.
Isn't that like kind of 10 years ago?
I think the legal person at Toyota is a huge Chuck Norris
Yeah,
fan.
must
And
be.
just his cubicle is just plastered with Chuck Norris everything. He's like, push it through. We love it.
Wow.
All right, let me tell you about, speaking of cars, True Car, and then we'll get the news ready with Gina Grad. True Car, MSRP. You know what it stands for, but what does it mean? Same goes for invoice, list price, dealer price. It's confusing. Introducing True Price from True Car. Know exactly what you'll pay, including fees and accessories, before you get to the dealership. You'll know your true price is a great price because True Car shows you what other people paid for the exact same car you want. Their certified dealers set their price competitively so they can win your business. So, if you're ready to buy new, you're ready to buy used, and that's about it. It is always True Car. Our own Chris Maxipata did it. He jumped it off the pier right onto the boat because he was running late, but do not attempt. He's a professional stunt driver on a close course. So when you're ready to buy new and you're ready to buy used, you visit True Car and enjoy a more satisfying and confident car buying experience. Some features not available in all states. That is True Car. Christy, thank you so much for joining
Thank you,
us.
guys.
Good job, babe.
We will
Thanks for not throwing me off the cruise ship.
Thanks for doing your homework. We love that about you. We'll take a quickie break. We'll come back with Gina Grad and the news. All right. Should we do a little news? We don't have the sound effects and everything because we're on
a cruise ship.
On a cruise ship.
We're
on a moving
and
boat.
now we've pushed off
shoved
and
off.
we're in the middle of the sea. So
Gorgeous.
It is gorgeous. All right, Gina Grad, some news.
All right. Well, question for you. How big of a deal do you think it is for people to take their dogs to work with them? You think that matters to people these days?
Yes.
Matters to whom?
Well, I'll tell you exactly who it matters to. It matters to millennials. A new survey found that 51% of millennial pet owners say they consider a full-on career change if it meant a pet-friendly workplace. And 37% of pet owners said they would give up vacation time and work from home days if their workplace would let them bring their pet with them.
Christie's still in the room. How many people were in your office? Sorry,
doesn't have a mic.
My office had like 45 people, but okay. So you're 100% right. We had people complain to HR when we said that they couldn't. We had dogs in all the time, but they had a calendar, so you had to actually sign your dog up for the days that you wanted. And we had people have fights over whose dog was there more than their dog. God. And then someone actually tried to expense. What is it?
Doggy daycare?
Yeah, no, the allergy pills. What is it called? The Claritin. Claritin, because they're allergic to the dogs in the office.
Actually, I think that's valid.
But what are you going to do? I mean, you have to work with dogs.
Absolutely.
I mean, you're an advertising firm. So.
That's right. That's
hey,
right.
if you don't like working with dogs, don't get an advertising kennel.
But it was all the 20-somethings, early 30-somethings.
Of course.
Oh,
yeah, get a job at a kennel if you don't like dogs. But if you're getting advertising, you got to expect that comes with it.
And they all have a red vest, and they're all emotionally supportive.
Oh, very yes.
Yeah.
How much? Sit and cry and pet them all day long.
How much, like I'm an atheist, but I do see the value in religion, and as I see religion just sort of going like circling the toilet here, I realize that things like pets being your best friend and your dog being number one in your life, like I don't feel like religious people in the past, they liked their dog, but they didn't need the dog to travel with them. Yeah, they'd eat their dog. Well, a couple of bad winters, and what are you going to do? But I'm saying, like, is all of this just some sort of weird byproduct of zero religion? Like, I don't think, how many of these people, what percentage of people you think would be religious or deeply religious or fairly religious who would insist on bringing their fucking dog to work? I feel like
almost
that's
zero.
No,
I feel like that's a zero thing, right?
It was entitlement. It's entitlement, and I think it's different. It's this whole, and this about Tessa, this freaks me out. It's the generation where no one ever told them no.
Well,
so
sure.
Well, that's it. So then they're like, well, why can't I bring my dog to work? Well, those are the rules. Well, we can change the rules. I can bring my dog. My dog should be here.
Well, but it's me. I want to bring my dog to work.
Right.
It's not
Because
you or your dog or other
special.
people's work, and they can take Claritin. But, no, I get that. I get we've ruined everyone with the me, and everyone's entitled. But I also feel like it's in conjunction with no religion. I feel like none of these people, can you imagine someone who said, like, oh, I'm a born again Christian and I bring my dog to work? Like, it doesn't feel right to me. Like, I feel like this is the work of the devil.
It doesn't feel like a lot of crossover.
It feels like the work of the devil.
Well, people in advertising have no soul, so it's fine.
That's true. And the more, and now, and as you get into, like, you'll never. If you work construction, no one brings their fucking dog to work because they're not a bunch of douchebags. They grew up in a world where no was the answer, like, all the time. But if you're doing tech stuff or Silicon Valley stuff or advertising stuff or whatever, you grew up in a world of yes, yes, and more yes, prince and princess. So you shall be bringing your dog.
Speaking of which, when you're on a ship, no matter how many times you've been on, you have to do a muster drill. You go find your little escape boat and you stand there, whatever. And we had to line up in single file. Did you guys do that?
No.
Ours was very militaristic. So I was right behind a woman who actually, I wasn't totally sure where she ended and the dog began.
But, that's a person
she carried,
holding a schnauzer.
Yeah, this woman was very
Diane
lovely.
Caelan
Holding
a schnauzer from behind.
And she kept offering to have the dog lean back on them and, quote, hug them. And I had a lot of questions for her. And I was like, why did you bring your dog? And does your dog travel with you a lot?
That's a great picture.
And apparently she goes to airports with dogs to calm passengers down if they've been sitting on the runway too long. And he has an official medal that he wears that says Canine Good Citizen.
Well, so we saw him in the him and her in the cafeteria yesterday, which I thought was
I
wild.
don't think they're allowed to be in the
why is there a dog in the
cafeteria?
But it was by the giant cake that, like, the shape of the ship that they were feeding 300 people with. But it was people in wheelchairs, and so she actually had the dog, and I was like, oh, that's really nice. That's sweet.
She's very sweet, but dog. This dog, this is this dog's first cruise, so he wasn't thrilled.
Oh, I get it.
But yeah, I wasn't quite sure. There was no definitive line of where she started and where he started. started, and it was great. Moving on, this is actually a story for Christie and Bryan.
Hold on.
Jesus. Can't have that.
When I'm going to get angry times 3. But when I was shooting Road Hard and we're shooting like the airplane scene and we're inside this like hangar in Van Nuys where they had this like fuselage or an airplane, there was like a 55-year-old guy. We had the food spread out. He was preparing, they had the bagels and lox, and it was like the cream cheese and the bagels and the lox and the onion and the tomato, and he was holding his dog, his super hairy, fluffy dog, up with his right hand, up above all the food.
Like hovering over the food.
And with his left hand attempting to kind of make himself a bagel and lox. And it was just like him and his dog and lox. Like imagine just lox spread out and like think about the hair.
The dander.
They're magnets for hair. Lox. Oh my God. Cream
Lox
cheese.
is iffy anyway.
I know.
Sanitary
Tomatoes like cut in half. Like if somebody said, hey, those lox, open tomato slices, onion slices, cream cheese, out in a warehouse for 20 minutes on an open table, you'd be like, oh, it's a little iffy. But now this guy's holding a dog.
Let's shake a dog over it.
And everyone, and there are two things that happen in this that drove me insane. One is everyone is just watching this guy do this, and I just yelled, hey! And he's like, huh? And I was like, put your dog down. Like, nobody wants your fucking dog over the fucking lox. And by the way, how can you make bagels and lox with like one fucking hand?
Hollywood diva.
And then who's the guy who used to work with us who used to get everything wrong all the time? Mike Altier. Mike Altier. He would just constantly say things that were wrong all the time. That's all he said was things that were wrong. Immediately volunteer things that were wrong. And so I yelled at him, hey, you. And he's like, huh? I'm like, put your goddamn dog down. People are eating. And he was like, oh, all right. He put his dog down. And then Altier like leaned over to me and he goes, that guy is the guy who wrangles the dog that you're using in the next scene on the airplane when the dog's on the airplane. And I was like, oh, shit. Now I got to. Of course it is. This guy's going to come. He's got the dog. Is he pissed? Is he leaving with his dog? We need the dog. We're shooting. He's going to bring his dog over. Like in the next scene, I'm going to go, oh, hey I hope you took that in the spirit. But no, turned out this was not that guy. That was another dog. Altier had no fucking idea what he was talking about, as per usual, but volunteered it immediately anyway. So 0 for 2. But yes, a dog being held over a table of bagels and lox, everybody.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome. Nobody likes your fucking dog. Leave it at home unless its name is Philly cheesesteak. And then it brings joy to everyone who sees him. All right.
Well, speaking of food, there's a program called Traveling Spoon that allows vacationers to experience the unique foods of places around the world by allowing them to enjoy these foods in people's homes. It's Airbnb for food. It's not a restaurant. You just go and eat dinner over there. Hesitant to eat in a stranger's home? Well, Traveling Spoon says it makes safety a top priority for travelers and hosts. For example, each host goes through a detailed application process and 3 rounds of interviews before getting selected. And Traveling Spoon employees personally eat at the home of prospective hosts, making sure they're following all food safety regulations. Adam, I think you'd be fine with this.
I would, but the eye contact would be weird, you know.
That's a real bridge too far for you.
Sitting at the table and you'd be making like small talk.
Let's say grace.
And there'd be pictures on the mantle, and
you have to address
questions.
The urn that's on the
There's an urn,
like that. And then there'd be some sad. Well, our youngest was thrown by a horse, so she's here. She's just unable to eat with us. Like it'd be like, oh, okay, well there you go. Like
the empty chair with the frame.
Yeah, but we'll bring her food in. We'll put it in the Cuisinart so she can suck it through a crazy straw. And there'd be like a lot of weirdness there. You wouldn't know what to follow up with questions. I wouldn't want to do that.
The reason Airbnb works is because you look online like $200 for a hotel room. That's ridiculous. I'd much rather pay $22. With food, there is a $22 option or a $12 option.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
you do Airbnb so you can be alone in someone else's house without them.
Well, yeah. So you're right. So the a restaurant is essentially what we're talking about,
Right.
and they're all over the place. So why wouldn't we just let the professionals
Handle
do
it.
the cooking?
This isn't going to work.
Well, now the opposite of this, and I don't know if you've seen this video on Facebook, but it went insane for a while. My personal utopia in Tokyo, there's a ramen bar where you eat alone, you get your own cubicle, they slide the food under a curtain, and then they shut it.
I've seen this,
And
yes.
you just get to eat quietly in your little cubicle.
Yes.
That sounds like heaven.
It's the only personal space that you actually have in Tokyo.
Exactly. Well, speaking of different kind of travel packages, here's one. Some hotels are starting to offer sleep vacations. So hotels like the Benjamin in New York City, they're offering these sleep packages where guests pay to get some shut-eye. So basically, it's triple pane windows, blackout curtains, earplugs, a pillow menu, on-demand meditation. Westin hotels also offer a sleep well package at many of their locations. This includes a heavenly bed, a spa credit, a late checkout, and a special sleep well food menu. So these hotels are specifically focusing on sleep and
I'm
upcharging
down
for
with
it.
this.
I like this.
I'm already.
All day.
I'm looking at a new house, and I have a nap room already picked out. I'm going full nap room.
Please tell me there's a hammock.
Oh no, because I sleep on my face. I would
Okay, yeah, that wouldn't
suffocate.
That'd be
But
weird.
I-
It'd be convex.
Waffle face.
There's no such thing as a nap for me that doesn't involve the kids coming home or Natalia bursting in the room, like yelling, "Where's mom?" I'm like, I don't know. She's in another room napping. Leave me alone. Oh, okay. And then it's like follow up. And then she'll leave the door open when she walks out. I'll be like, Jesus Christ, you can't even shut the goddamn door. And there's arguments. And they're like, Phil, once the door gets left open, Phil bounds and will jump on the bed, like he'll leap. He doesn't do like a triple jump. He just jumps and then he gets on the bed and he starts like licking your face and grabbing you and stuff like that. Like, there's no such thing as a free nap at my house, and I want a nap room. And this is smart because we've all. Everyone has done the math where it's like, oh, I got a horrible night's sleep, and then the next day, like I couldn't concentrate and I couldn't remember anything, and I was totally off my game. And yes, you are altered in a deeply negative way, and a good night's sleep, or sometimes just 40 minutes of good, deep, sound sleep in the middle of the day, you'll be a new person. You know, it's all there. And if you think about it, well, if this is very important to your health and very important emotionally, psychologically, but from a performance standpoint, like, hey, if you got to go out and do a show that night and you've had a long day and you didn't get any sleep, like you need that
presentation,
nap.
a meeting, or whatever.
Right.
This
So-
is huge for business travelers.
A nap room, if you think about like your house, like people go, oh, we got a walk-in closet. It's a great closet. Or we got a mud room where people can take their gardening clogs off or whatever it is. A nap room doesn't need to be much bigger than like 4 foot by 8 foot.
Yeah, like a walk-in closet.
Make it pitch black, soundproof, everything.
A panic room.
Go in there and just shut the door and like take a nap. Like how many times you've been on your bed and then you hear the neighbor fire up the whatever or the kids or the wife or the whatever, like something's going on or whatever. Just why not just have a nap room? Like
Absolutely.
if I was building custom houses, I would just build a nap room into every room.
We made our room
into
a nap
every
room
house.
this
Sorry.
afternoon.
Well,
Oh,
and
perfect.
if you're not one of those people that either lives near one of these hotels or has your own nap room in your house, there is one more option. A company is trying to make airports a more relaxing place and change that by offering nap pods. They're going to allow you to chill out, relax, surf Netflix. They're AirPod sleeping pods. They're private, quote, capsule style units designed to be installed in public spaces like airports, hotels, railways, bus stations, shopping centers,
that'd
offices.
be awesome at the airport. All right, who's next? Gary Smith? Oh no, so Gary just left the pod.
we
All
gotta
right,
clean
Alan
this.
Johnson, you're in Gary. You sure? We can't get the lid open. What's going on?
It's welded shut.
Jesus, it's not latched. Maybe
he
it's a
still in
vapor
there?
lock.
No, I saw him
Pull on
walk
it hard.
away.
Operator error. So you swipe your
Guys
card.
are going to be beating off in
I
those
know,
pods.
I know.
That's
Who
the
cleans the pods?
problem.
That's the question. You step in after you swipe it. You get a total private comfort.
No.
You watch the TV monitors. You get your air conditioning, your
the real
sound
here's
reduction.
the power move.
You can go to the
power
fertility office and
move-
do this.
The power move Forget about like owning Geffen's yacht. The power move is like they do at the good steak joint where you have the locker with your wine in it.
Yes.
Yep.
I have my own sleeping pod at LAX. I have one at Heathrow.
You got your
that's
sleep
good.
mask in there.
I have one at
Yeah.
O'Hare.
Your earplugs.
Your
JFK.
essential oils. Your
I
little
just
plaque
take
on the
my
front.
own sleeping pod. They're my sleeping
Yeah.
pods. I spread them
that's
out over
good.
about 5 or 6, a couple of
Frequently,
hubs.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, a couple of hubs. And again, the
Frequent
JFK, LAX, and I just go there. It's my pod.
That's good.
Yeah. And then we have a
love
whole
that.
room of pods like Alien.
Like, I love it.
Well, they have breastfeeding pods now in German airports. Like when I went to Frankfurt
Ugh,
to Berlin,
disgusting.
they have
Oh, they do?
breastfeeding pods. Yeah, so why not have nap pods?
Can you just
That'd
kick
be
it in there, or
amazing.
do you have to be breastfeeding?
I didn't go inside. I don't know.
okay.
I was freaked out.
Of course, there has to be then that's going to lead to a movie where the guy falls asleep and then there's a huge terrorist event or
Yeah,
whatever and he
he's
wakes
insulated.
up and there's smoke everywhere and he's the last
He's the
guy
last
around.
survivor.
What's going on? What happened? And then he's got to save the airport. Right.
Feels like I've been asleep for a week.
All right, one more, Gina.
All
Grad.
right. Well, possibly uncomfortable again with both bishops here, but we live for that sometimes, so we're going for
Oh,
it.
boy.
Being a wife and a mother is stressful, but if you had to pick who causes more stress, would it be your spouse or your kids? Well, in a recent survey of 7,000 moms, 46% revealed that their husbands are a much bigger source of stress in their lives than their kids.
40, what? 40?
46%, almost half. The reason,
okay.
according
So
to
it's less
moms,
than half.
almost half.
What's the margin of error?
The reason, according to the moms, is because their husbands act more like kids than their partners. 75% of all women surveyed said that they had a lot of daily stress that revolved around handling all the household and parenting responsibilities. But overall, almost half the people said they'd rather deal with their kids than their husbands.
I disagree.
I
I
disagree.
have an amazing husband. He helps with everything.
Yeah,
And
Chris
when
doesn't
I'm-
stress
Just
me
because he
out.
took you on a
No.
free cruise, you don't have to say that.
Actually, Adam took me on the free
Right,
cruise.
that's
I'm
right.
very
Yeah,
clear
man.
about that.
I do stress you out quite a bit in the car, but other than that, I don't
Oh
stress
my
you out
god!
very much.
Yeah, we're gonna end up being my parents where we can't drive together anywhere ever because he's a nightmare.
Yeah,
I
Lynette
love
gets
you.
pissed because I grab the wheel and
Oh,
start
my
moving it
God.
and
He
stuff like
becomes
that.
he's a fairly mellow guy. He's a psychotic asshole.
It's the other
in car.
drivers.
Yeah, it's their fault.
Yeah, if they weren't there, I'd be
Let me
fine.
ask you this, Chris. You ever play this card? Lynette plays this card every once in a while. Like I'll go, look, I'm too busy to do blah, blah, blah. And then I'll go, all right, let's work out your schedule here. You drop the kids off at the school at 8:30 in the morning, and then the nanny picks them up at 3, and then you see them again at 6. So according to my math,
Why
you
it's
got
what?
a nice big window of time
All
you
day.
could be doing shit that I'm talking to you about doing. And she goes, hey, you never stop being a mom.
Oh, that's good.
Which is good.
That's good.
But
I've never.
But do I get
Thank
to
you, Lynette.
hold on? Do I get to play the "You Never Stop Being a Dad" card? Because I feel like that would be rejected. Like
No,
I'd be,
because you see the billboards that say "Take time to be a dad."
right. I'd be laughed out of the room if I went, "Look, I never stop being a dad, so I'm not going to work today." Like, I don't feel like I can play the "You Never Stop Being a Dad" card, but she can play the
No.
"You Never Stop Being a Mom," which
And that's
is
a conversation ender.
right. She's like, "I'm always worried about those kids, so."
I've never said that.
Our,
That's in my life.
Our version of that is when Christy is very busy and she asks me to do something, and I have to explain, figure out a way to explain. No, I don't have time because I have to watch the new Transformers movie, or I have to watch Monday Night Football,
Right.
and it is kind of for work because I host a
Never
fantasy
stop
football.
being a nerd.
Yeah, exactly.
You
but
did inform me 2 weeks ago. He's
Yeah.
like, so we need to talk.
I did do
And
this.
it was at dinner. I was like, oh shit, what? Like, God, are you sick? What's happening? I have like PTSD. He's like, so you do realize you're going to be a single mom every Sunday for the next 4 months because
my
I
God.
have this new podcast with Sunny, and I have to sit in front of the TV and I have to watch
And
it.
Sonny
all.
needs a father.
All right. Phoenix, Stand Up Live, October 27th. Basic Cable Commentary up on stage with Mike August, who's he's exceptionally good on his feet, I must say, for a guy who's a behind-the-scenes guy. He comes alive.
brings the heat.
When the lights turn on him. Anaheim, the Grove up there November 30th, a live podcast. Well, I'll be there with Rob Riggle as well. Match game. My episode's on demand at abc.com. I've not seen it, but I'm sure the town's buzzing. Oh, man, when do I get to the airport? This is going to be a here's welcome
Hey,
for me.
match game!
Yeah. Fantasy BS podcast hosted by Bryan and Sonny Carolla. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts and Podcast One. And Chassis. Go to Chassis right now and watch all the good stuff on Pluto TV. And download the Pluto TV app. It's all free. Pre-order that uppity. We're going to watch it tonight on the cruise. And Adam Carolla Goes Racing. Motortrend.com/Am. Still at Goodwood. Racing all those cool cars. Until next time, this is Adam Carolla for Christie Bishop and Bryan Bishop and Gina Grad saying mahalo.
Follow Adam Carolla on Twitter at Adam Carolla. Follow the show on Twitter at Adam Carolla Show. Give us a thumbs up on Facebook. And for tickets and info, Mangry events, books, movies, you name it, we got it at adamcarolla.com.